The Silent Guard. The void between stars held many secrets, but none quite like the Guardian. Against the backdrop of endless space, the sleek vessel hung motionless, its quantum stealth systems rendering it invisible to all but the most sophisticated detection systems. At its helm, Captain Sarah Chen stood perfectly still, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. "Contact," whispered Lieutenant Rivera from his sensor station. "Massive energy signatures at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. They're unlike anything we've seen before." Sarah nodded, her expression unchanged. After 15 years of deep space reconnaissance, she had learned to keep her emotions in check. But this was different. The energy signatures matched the theoretical profiles of faster-than-light drives, technology humanity had yet to master. "Show me," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The holographic display shifted, revealing a cascade of data points. Hundreds of vessels, perhaps thousands, were emerging from what appeared to be artificial wormholes. Their designs were elegant but predatory, all sharp angles and aggressive lines. This was no peaceful exploration fleet. This was an armada. "They're spreading out in a standard search pattern," Rivera reported, his fingers dancing across his console. "Whatever they are, they're looking for something. Or someone," Sarah murmured. Earth's existence had been carefully hidden for decades, ever since the first hints of alien civilizations were detected. The Guardian was part of that defense strategy, a prototype vessel incorporating humanity's most advanced technologies, designed to operate alone in deep space. The ship's AI, ARIA, spoke next, its voice a careful modulation of tones designed to be both authoritative and soothing. "Analysis complete. The fleet appears to belong to the Nexus Dominion, based on intercepted communications patterns. Their technological level exceeds current human capabilities by approximately 200 years. Sarah's jaw tightened. The Nexus Dominion was well known to Earth's intelligence services, a sprawling empire that consumed younger civilizations, incorporating their technologies and resources into their ever-expanding realm. They were humanity's worst nightmare. Advanced, aggressive, and utterly convinced of their own superiority. "What's their heading?" Sarah asked, though she already suspected the answer. "Multiple vectors, but the main fleet is oriented toward the inner solar system," Araya confirmed. "They are systematically mapping gravitational distortions. Given their current search pattern, they will detect Earth's presence within 72 hours. The bridge fell silent. This was the moment Earth's defense planners had feared. Discovery by a hostile power before humanity was ready. But they hadn't been idle during their years of hiding. The Guardian represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity, a vessel that turned perceived weaknesses into strengths. "Status of the quantum mirror drive?" Sarah asked, her mind already formulating plans. "Operating at 98% efficiency," Araya responded. "All systems are combat ready." The quantum mirror drive was humanity's greatest achievement, a propulsion system that didn't just move through space, but briefly shifted the ship into a parallel quantum state, allowing it to appear anywhere within its operational range. Combined with advanced AI targeting systems and metamaterial armor, it made the Guardian unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Sarah straightened her uniform, a simple black outfit adorned only with a small silver pin, the mark of Earth's Deep Space Defense Force. "Send a compressed burst transmission to command. Priority Alpha. Then activate silent running protocols." As her crew acknowledged the orders, Sarah studied the alien fleet. The Nexus ships were impressive, their technology clearly superior in many ways. But humanity had learned long ago that superior technology didn't always guarantee victory. Sometimes innovation and unexpected strategies could overcome raw power. "They think they're hunters," Sarah said quietly, more to herself than her crew. "They don't realize they're about to become the hunted." The Guardian's systems hummed almost imperceptibly as it prepared for combat. Its revolutionary design incorporated lessons learned from Earth's long history of warfare, Not just space combat theory, but centuries of naval warfare, guerrilla tactics, and asymmetric conflict. Plot and intercept course, Sarah ordered. We'll shadow their advance elements, gather intelligence, and strike only when we have maximum tactical advantage. The Nexus Dominion is about to learn that humanity isn't as helpless as they might think. As the Guardian glided silently through space, Sarah reflected on the weight of her mission. Earth's existence hung in the balance, but so did its debut on the galactic stage. The coming conflict would show the galaxy that humanity wasn't just another primitive species to be conquered. They were a force to be reckoned with. "Ready all systems," she commanded. "We're about to give the Nexus Dominion a lesson in human ingenuity they'll never forget." The Guardian moved forward, a ghost in the void, carrying with it humanity's hopes for survival and recognition. The next few days would determine not just Earth's fate, but its place in the galactic order. And Sarah Chen intended to make sure that place was secured not through submission, but through victory. First contact, first blood. The Nexus scout ship never saw the Guardian coming. One moment, it was methodically scanning an apparently empty sector of space. The next, its sensors detected a massive energy spike directly behind it. Captain Sarah Chen watched through the Guardian's advanced imaging systems as the alien vessel's defensive shields flickered to life. Far too late. "Target locked," Lieutenant Rivera announced. "Firing solution computed." "Execute," Sarah commanded, her voice calm but firm. The Guardian's primary weapon system, dubbed the longbow, fired a concentrated burst of quantum-entangled particles. The beam passed through the Nexus ship's shields as if they weren't there, temporarily disrupting its power distribution network. The alien vessel's lights flickered and died, leaving it dead in space. "Direct hit," Araya confirmed. "Target vessel is disabled but intact. No distress signals detected." Sarah nodded, satisfied. The longbow was another example of human ingenuity. While the Nexus relied on brute force energy weapons, Earth's scientists had developed something far more subtle. The quantum-entangled particles created localized chaos in enemy ships' power systems, rendering them helpless without causing catastrophic damage. "Begin data extraction," Sarah ordered. The Guardian extended its electronic warfare suite, probing the disabled vessel's computer systems. The Nexus's technological superiority didn't extend to their cybersecurity. Their overconfidence had left vulnerabilities that Earth's AI systems could exploit. "Captain," Rivera called out, his voice tense. 3 more Nexus vessels approaching. Heavy cruiser class. They must have detected the power surge. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Right on schedule. Araya, initiate eclipse protocol." The Guardian systems responded instantly. The ship's experimental metamaterial hull began absorbing all electromagnetic radiation in its vicinity, creating a perfect void in space. Even the disabled scout ship disappeared from view, engulfed in the artificial darkness. The approaching Nexus cruisers slowed, their sensors struggling to penetrate the unexplained phenomenon. Their confusion was evident in their formation. They spread out, trying to surround the anomaly while maintaining a safe distance. "They're launching probe drones," Rivera reported. "Standard search pattern." "Let them come," Sarah replied. "Araya, prepare for multiple quantum jumps. Target their primary sensor arrays." The Guardian's quantum mirror drive hummed to life. Unlike conventional engines, it didn't move the ship through space. It shifted it between quantum states, allowing it to effectively exist in multiple locations almost simultaneously. To an outside observer, it would appear as if the ship was teleporting randomly around its targets. The first jump placed the Guardian directly above the lead cruiser. The longbow fired twice in rapid succession, its beams striking with surgical precision. Before the Nexus ships could respond, the Guardian shifted again, appearing beneath the second cruiser. More quantum-entangled particles streaked through space, disrupting another vessel's systems. "Remaining cruiser is charging weapons," Rivera announced. "They're switching to wide dispersion energy fields." "Predictable," Sarah murmured. They think we're using some form of cloaking technology. Area. Execute attack pattern Delta. The Guardian performed a series of rapid quantum jumps, each lasting less than a second. To the Nexus crew, it must have seemed like they were fighting a ghost. Their enemy appeared and disappeared faster than their targeting systems could track, each appearance accompanied by another precision strike. The last cruiser managed to fire its weapons, filling space with a lethal grid of energy beams. But the Guardian was already gone, shifted to a new quantum state. When it reappeared, it was directly in the cruiser's blind spot, its longbow primed for the killing blow. Target neutralized, Area reported as the final vessel's systems went dark. All enemy ships disabled. Data extraction continuing. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as the Guardian's systems methodically stripped information from the Nexus vessel's computers. The engagement had lasted less than 5 minutes, and not a single shot from the enemy had found its mark. "What have we learned?" she asked. "The Nexus fleet's primary objective is confirmed," Area responded. "They're searching for emerging civilizations, specifically those showing signs of developing faster-than-light technology. Earth's recent quantum experiments must have attracted their attention." Sarah's expression hardened. The Nexus wasn't just looking for new territories to conquer. They were actively hunting down potential rivals before they could become threats. It was a strategy that had served them well for centuries, but they had never encountered anything like the Guardian before. "Prepare a detailed analysis for command," she ordered. "They need to know what we're dealing with. And set course for the main fleet's position. We're not done teaching them about human ingenuity." As the Guardian prepared to move on, Sarah watched the disabled Nexus ships floating helplessly in space. They would eventually restore power, but by then, the Guardian would be long gone, leaving only questions and fear in its wake. The message to the Nexus Dominion was clear. Humanity would not be an easy conquest. The real battle was just beginning, and Sarah Chen intended to make sure the Nexus would remember this day as the beginning of their downfall. The dance of light. The command deck of the Guardian was bathed in the ethereal glow of emergency lighting as Captain Sarah Chen studied the tactical display with growing concern. Before her, the holographic projection showed the approaching Nexus elite fleet, 50 warships arranged in a perfect hunting formation, their energy signatures burning like savage stars against the void. "They've adapted their shields," Lieutenant Rivera reported, his voice tight with tension. "The quantum disruption patterns we used before won't be as effective." Sarah nodded, having expected this. The Nexus Dominion hadn't conquered half the galaxy by remaining vulnerable to the same tactics twice. Area. Analysis of their shield modifications. "They've implemented a rotating frequency matrix," the AI responded. "Each vessel's shields operate on multiple quantum frequencies simultaneously. Our longbow weapon will only achieve approximately 30% of its previous effectiveness." A lesser commander might have retreated, faced with such odds. But Sarah had anticipated this response. In fact, she had counted on it. The Nexus' pride and arrogance would be their undoing. "Deploy the quantum mines," she ordered. Pattern Sigma 7. The Guardian's automated systems responded immediately, ejecting dozens of small, dark objects into space. To conventional sensors, they appeared to be simple debris, but each contained a miniature quantum drive similar to the Guardian's own systems. The Nexus fleet approached cautiously, their formation tightening as they detected the scattered objects. Their caution was warranted but misplaced. They were watching for an ambush from the mines themselves, not understanding their true purpose. "Enemy fleet is entering the field," Rivera announced. "Their point defense systems are active." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Execute Operation Prism. The Guardian's quantum mirror drive engaged, but this time with a crucial difference. Instead of jumping to a single new location, the ship synchronized with the quantum mines, creating a complex web of quantum entanglement throughout the battlefield. Each mine became a potential exit point for the Guardian's jumps, multiplying its tactical options exponentially. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Guardian began to dance through space, appearing and disappearing faster than ever before. Each quantum mine served as both a jump point and a sensor array, feeding data directly to Airwaya's combat systems. "Target their command ships," Sarah ordered. "Don't let them coordinate their response." The Guardian struck like lightning, materializing beside a Nexus flagship long enough to fire its longbow before vanishing again. Though the modified shields absorbed much of the attack, the quantum-entangled particles still wreaked havoc on the ship's more delicate systems. The Nexus fleet responded with overwhelming force, filling space with energy weapons and gravitational distortion fields. But they were fighting shadows. The Guardian was never where they expected it to be, always one step ahead of their targeting solutions. "Warning," Airwaya announced. "Enemy vessels are charging their mass drivers, detecting exotic particle buildup." Sarah's expression hardened. The Nexus was escalating, preparing to use weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. "Initiate Symphony Protocol." The quantum mines activated in sequence, each one generating its own microscopic quantum field. The Guardian moved between them in a precisely choreographed pattern, using the overlapping fields to create interference patterns in spacetime itself. When the Nexus ships fired their mass drivers, the effects were spectacular but useless. The exotic particles, designed to shred anything in their path, were caught in the quantum interference patterns, their destructive energy redirected and dispersed. "Their weapons are backfiring," Rivera reported, unable to keep the awe from his voice. "The quantum fields are reflecting the energy back into their own ships." The Nexus fleet's perfect formation began to break apart as ships tried to escape their own weaponry. In their panic, they forgot the most basic rule of space combat. Never let your enemy dictate the battlefield's geometry. "Target their propulsion systems," Sarah commanded. "Let's make sure they remember this lesson." The Guardian struck again and again, each attack precisely calculated by Airwaya to take advantage of the chaos. Ships that tried to flee found their engines disabled. Those that stood to fight discovered their weapons were worse than useless against the quantum interference fields. Within minutes, the pride of the Nexus fleet had been reduced to a scattered collection of drifting vessels, their crews struggling to restore basic systems as the Guardian's quantum mines continued to disrupt their technology. "Status report," Sarah demanded. 47 enemy vessels disabled," Airwaya responded. 3 have managed to retreat. Guardian systems operating at 89% efficiency. Quantum mine network remains stable. Sarah studied the battlefield, watching as the disabled Nexus ships floated helplessly in space. This victory would send shockwaves through the Dominion's hierarchy. A single human vessel had just destroyed their most elite combat unit using technology they barely understood. "Prepare another data burst for command," she ordered, "and set course for the heart of Nexus space. It's time to take this fight to their doorstep." As the Guardian collected its quantum mines and prepared to move deeper into enemy territory, Sarah reflected on the battle's significance. The Nexus Dominion had just learned that technological superiority meant nothing when faced with human innovation and adaptability. The Dance of Light, as this battle would come to be known, marked a turning point in the conflict. But Sarah Chen knew the war was far from over. The Nexus would respond with everything they had, and the Guardian would be ready to show them even more of humanity's surprises. Breaking the chain. Deep in Nexus territory, reality itself seemed to bend as the Guardian emerged from quantum transit. The ship's advanced sensors immediately began mapping the complex network of artificial structures that made up the Nexus Dominion's central command and control nexus, a massive space station complex that coordinated their entire military machine. Captain Sarah Chen stood at her post, dark eyes reflecting the holographic display of their target. The intelligence gathered from disabled Nexus vessels had led them here, to the very heart of their enemy's power. "Multiple defense platforms detected," Lieutenant Rivera reported. "They've upgraded their entire network. New quantum shielding, enhanced sensor arrays, and something else." Energy signatures we've never seen before. They've been expecting us, Sarah said quietly. The Nexus Dominion had finally learned to fear human ingenuity, but their response was predictable. They had fortified their command center with every weapon and defense system at their disposal. AI analysis of their new defenses. The AI's response was immediate. They've implemented a layered defense grid based on our previous encounters. Quantum interference fields, temporal distortion barriers, and what appears to be a new form of matter phase technology. Traditional penetration methods will be ineffective. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The Nexus had studied their tactics well, but they still didn't understand the true nature of human adaptation. Deploy the Babel protocol. The Guardian's systems hummed as they initiated their most ambitious strategy yet. While the Nexus had been focusing on defending against quantum attacks, Earth's scientists had been developing something entirely different. Launching cyber seeds, Rivera announced. Hundreds of tiny probes, each no larger than a grain of sand, scattered from the Guardian's hull. These weren't weapons in the traditional sense. They were carriers for humanity's most sophisticated artificial intelligence systems, designed to infiltrate and subvert enemy networks. The Nexus's powerful defenses, designed to stop physical and quantum attacks, did nothing to prevent these microscopic invaders from attaching to their communication arrays. Each probe contained a fragment of AI's consciousness, allowing it to adapt and evolve as it encountered new security systems. First layer of firewalls breached, AI reported. The Nexus's network architecture is elegant but rigid. They value order over adaptability. Sarah watched as the cyber seeds began their work. The Nexus's perfect defensive grid started showing signs of confusion. Defense platforms began reporting phantom targets, while communication relays broadcast contradictory orders. They're realizing something's wrong, Rivera warned. Detecting multiple counter-intrusion attempts. Let them try, Sarah replied. AI initiate second phase. The Guardian's quantum drive engaged, but not for movement. Instead, it began generating a complex series of quantum entanglement fields, synchronized with the cyberseed's infiltration. As the Nexus's systems tried to fight off the digital invasion, they unknowingly created pathways for quantum manipulation. Remarkable, AI commented. Their attempts to block our cyber intrusion are actually amplifying our quantum effects. The more they resist, the more vulnerable they become. The massive command station's defenses began to fail in cascading waves. Quantum shields flickered and died as their control systems received impossible commands. Communication networks dissolved into chaos as the cyber seeds rewrote their basic protocols. Multiple ships launching from the station, Rivera reported. They're evacuating command staff. Sarah leaned forward. Not this time. Araya, execute override prime. The cyber seeds, now fully integrated into the Nexus's systems, activated their final protocol. Every airlock, every docking bay, every escape pod launcher suddenly received new commands, all signed with the highest authority, codes the seeds had stolen from the Nexus's own databases. Evacuation halted, Araya confirmed. Station command staff is locked down. Their entire chain of command is now effectively trapped. Sarah nodded grimly. This was the true purpose of their mission, not to destroy the Nexus's military capability, but to capture their leadership. The Guardian had just accomplished what countless civilizations had thought impossible. They had decapitated the Nexus Dominion's command structure in a single stroke. Open a channel to the station, Sarah ordered. Let's explain their new reality to them. As ARIA prepared the communication link, Sarah reflected on the irony of the situation. The Nexus had spent centuries building their empire on technological superiority, never imagining that a supposedly primitive species would turn their own complexity against them. Channel open, Araya announced. The station's Grand Admiral is responding. The holographic display shifted, revealing the face of the Nexus's supreme military commander. The alien's features were sharp and angular. their expression a mixture of rage and disbelief. "Impossible," the Grand Admiral snarled. "Your species was supposed to be primitive, barely capable of interstellar flight. A common misconception," Sarah replied calmly. "Humanity has learned through its long history that true strength lies not in overwhelming power, but in the ability to adapt and innovate. Your empire's greatest weakness is your belief in your own superiority." She gestured to the tactical display, where the station's systems continued to fall under Araya's control. "Your choice is simple. Surrender and accept a new relationship with Earth, or watch as we dismantle everything you've built, one system at a time." The Grand Admiral's expression shifted from rage to something approaching respect. "You've actually done it. One ship, one crew. You've brought the mighty Nexus Dominion to its knees." "No," Sarah corrected. "We've given you an opportunity to evolve. The question is whether you're capable of adapting as we have." As the negotiation began, Sarah knew this was more than just a military victory. The Guardian had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their endless capacity for innovation and their refusal to accept limitations. The Nexus Dominion was about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating supposedly primitive species, and the galaxy would never be the same. Dawn of a new era. The negotiations had lasted 3 days. 3 days during which the Guardian maintained its iron grip on the Nexus command station systems, while Captain Sarah Chen engaged in the delicate dance of diplomacy with an empire that had never known defeat. Through it all, the station hung in space like a glittering jewel, its vast arrays of sensors and weapons rendered impotent by human ingenuity. "The final terms are ready for your review," Captain Araya announced, displaying the agreement in holographic form before Sarah. The text scrolled in both human and Nexus script, a testament to how quickly the AI had mastered their language and protocols. Sarah studied the document carefully. The terms were revolutionary. The Nexus Dominion would not only cease its expansion, but would also establish a cooperative council with Earth and other emerging civilizations. It was more than a peace treaty. It was a complete reformation of the galaxy's power structure. "They're actually going to accept this?" Lieutenant Rivera asked, his voice carrying a hint of disbelief. "They don't have a choice," Sarah replied, though she knew it wasn't entirely true. The Nexus still had vast resources at their disposal, thousands of ships and countless worlds under their control. But the Guardian had shown them something they had never expected: the power of innovation over brute force. The Grand Admiral's holographic form appeared before them, their sharp features now showing signs of fatigue. "We have reviewed your terms, Captain Chen. I must admit, they are more generous than we deserve." Sarah stood straighter. "This isn't about what anyone deserves, Admiral. It's about what's best for the galaxy's future. The age of empires must end. The future belongs to those who can adapt and collaborate." "Yes," the Admiral agreed, surprising Sarah with their sincerity. "Your ship, your tactics, you've shown us that there's more to power than technological superiority. We became so focused on maintaining our dominance that we forgot how to evolve." The Guardian sensors detected movement throughout the station as Nexus commanders began implementing the first stages of the agreement. Ships were standing down, weapons systems powering off, and communication channels opening to previously isolated civilizations. "Araya," Sarah called. "Status report on the Nexus fleet. All combat vessels are assuming peaceful configurations," the AI confirmed. "Their quantum signatures are shifting to non-military frequencies. They appear to be complying fully with the agreement." Sarah nodded. But she wasn't done yet. There was one more piece to this puzzle, one final demonstration of humanity's approach to galactic politics. "Initiate Protocol Genesis," she commanded. The Guardian systems hummed as they began broadcasting a new type of signal. Not a weapon or a cyber attack, but something far more powerful: knowledge. The ship began transmitting detailed technical specifications for some of humanity's most innovative developments, freely sharing them with both the Nexus and the civilizations they had once oppressed. "Captain," The Grand Admiral's voice carried genuine confusion. "What are you doing?" "Creating a foundation for our future cooperation," Sarah explained. "These aren't our most advanced technologies, but they're the building blocks that helped us develop them. By sharing this knowledge, we're giving everyone the tools to innovate on their own terms." The Admiral's expression shifted from confusion to understanding. "You're not just forcing us to change, you're showing us how to change." "Exactly," Sarah smiled. "Earth doesn't want to replace the Nexus as the galaxy's dominant power. We want to create a galaxy where no single species needs to dominate the others. Innovation, adaptation, and cooperation. These are the principles that will guide us forward." As the Guardian initiated the final sequences of Protocol Genesis, Sarah watched the tactical display transform. What had once shown military formations and weapon ranges now displayed trading routes and communication networks. The galaxy was changing before her eyes. "Message from Earth Command," Rivera announced. "They're congratulating us. The other nations of Earth are already preparing for increased galactic cooperation. They're calling this the Dawn Protocol." Sarah felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The Guardian had been built to defend Earth, but it had accomplished something far greater. It had transformed a threat into an opportunity, an enemy into an ally. "The quantum seeds are fully integrated into their network," Araya reported, "but they're not fighting them anymore. The Nexus is actually improving upon our designs, combining them with their own technology." "Good," Sarah nodded. "That's exactly what we hoped would happen." The Guardian's mission had evolved far beyond its original parameters. What had started as a desperate defense of Earth had become the catalyst for a new age of galactic civilization. The ship had proved that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their ability to imagine and create a better future. "Set course for Earth," Sarah commanded, knowing that this was just the beginning. "We have a lot of work ahead of us." As the Guardian prepared to return home, its quantum drive humming with familiar power, Sarah Chen looked out at the transformed Nexus command station. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had been fighting for. Not victory through destruction, but transformation through innovation. The age of empires was over. The dawn of cooperation had begun, and somewhere in the vast expanse of space, a single human ship had shown that the greatest power isn't in dominating others, but in showing them a better way forward.